Hey there, fellow Dice Masters. This is Diane, and welcome back to DM Dice Masters. Today I'd like to explain what it means when it is said that dice are in transit or out of play. When you hear someone say that dice are in transition or out of play, what they are referring to is the energy spent or action dice used on the active player's turn. What I'd like to do with today's video is show you a few examples of when your dice would be considered out of play. So what exactly is out of play or the transit area? Essentially, it is a waiting area for the energy that you spent or non-continuous action dice that you used during your turn. The intent of creating this area was to ensure that dice could only ever be used once during your turn, so there is no way of using it and then getting it right back. If you take a look at my mat here, you'll notice that I have divided the used pile into two sections. The top section is my regular used pile. The bottom section I have on my custom mat labeled an in-transit area. Many Dice Masters players include this area sort of as a matter of convenience. That way they can easily determine which dice are out of play or in transit. Now WizKids hasn't included an in-transit or out-of-play area on any of their play mats. What they instead have chosen to do is they recommend players go ahead and put those dice that they spent on their turn to the side of their mat. For my first example, I will demonstrate purchasing a character. Let's say I wanted to buy this 2-cost shield agent. What I do is take my energy, which happens to be a fist and a bolt. Go ahead and I'm going to move that to my out of play or in transit area. And then I go ahead and get my character that I'm going to buy, and that one goes directly to the used pile. At the end of my turn, I will go ahead and take that energy that was in transit or out of play, and I will move it to the used pile. Actions used on my turn also go in transit or out of play. Once my turn is over, that action die would move up to the used pile. Energy used for globals on your turn also move to out of play or in transition. For example, if I wanted to use this Professor X global, what I would do is go ahead and pay the energy for that global. That goes out of play. I get to move my 2 sidekick dice over, and I can do it as many times as I want, as long as I have the energy to pay for it, and also the sidekick dice in my used pile. When you are not the active player, the dice that you spend go directly to the used pile. There is no in-transit or out-of-play area. For example, if you wanted to use the Professor X global on your opponent's turn, what you would do is go ahead and spend the energy to move these 2 sidekick dice over, and continue doing so until all of your dice have pretty much been moved over. Another instance when dice would move out of play is when the active player makes an attack and they have a character that was unblocked. That character would go through and then go to the out of play or in transit area. At the end of their turn, all those dice would again move to the used pile. I hope you found this video informative. Once again, this is Diane, and thank you for watching DM Dice Masters. Take care!